Hello everyone, and welcome back to Siren Menon Academy. In this video, we'll be discussing about loops. So what are loops? Loops are set of code that we write that we use to repeat the same action if we want it for a specific number of times. Suppose if someone tells you to print numbers from 1 to 100, you can write system.out.println 1, system.out.println 2 until 100, but it would be a time consuming process. So there comes loops. By using loops, we can we can print numbers from 1 to 100 in just under 5 lines. So there are three types of loops in Java: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So for loop is used when the number of repetitions are known, and while loop is used when the number of repetitions are unknown, or we want to fulfill run a loop until a specific condition is met. And do while loop is used when we need the action to perform first and the condition to be checked at the end. So let's first practically implement for loop. So let's go to VS Code. And let's create a new file. Let me name it as forloop.java. And then we'll write public static void main string arguments. And here I want to print numbers from 1 to 100. So I'll use for loop. So first of all, I'll write for, then I'll open parenthesis. Then here I will create a variable. So normally people create variables from I in loops, but it's your wish. You can name the variable anything. But the general convention is that we start the variable names from I in loops. So I'll name the variable as I itself. So I'll write int I is equal to 1. So this is the starting number. Then I put a semicolon. Then I write the condition I want. So I write I less than or equal to 100, because I want numbers to be printed from 1 to 100. Then I write I plus plus. Now this I plus plus is the increment operator. Now by using this increment operator, each time the loop prints I, it adds 1 to the current value of I. That means if the current value of I is 1, the next time it will print 2, and the next time if the value of I is 2, it will print 3, and so on. Then we come out of the parentheses and we open curly brackets. Now inside curly brackets we write, when the loop runs, what action should it do? So I write I want to print I. So I write system.out.println, because we are giving a new line because it needs to be printed at 100 lines. So I'm giving it in a new line and I write I. Every time it should print I. And now if I run the code, as you can see, it has started from 1 and it goes on till 100. So that means our loop has printed numbers from 1 to 100. Now the second type of loop is while loop. So I'll create while loop in a new file. So I'll write while loop.java. I'm creating a new file. And again, I'm writing public static void main string arguments. Now while loop is used when we don't know the number of repetitions, which is also known as iterations, or when we want a loop to run automatically until the condition is false. Now I'll use the same example of printing numbers from 1 to 100. So for while loop, I need to create the variable outside the loop. In for loop, we had created it inside for loop, but in while loop, I need to create it outside. So I write int I is equal to 1. then put semicolon. Then here I write while, then I simply write the name of the condition. So I need I less than or equal to 100, and then I put a curly brackets. Now here I write what should my loop do. My loop should print I in a new line. Then it should be incremented. For each time it prints, it should increment. Now if I run my code, it will print numbers from 1 to 100. As you can see, it has printed numbers from 1 to 100. Now if I want to print numbers from 1 to 50, I update over here, and then it will print numbers from 1 to 50. Like that, I can print infinite numbers using loop. Now the third type of loop is do while loop. And the specialty about do while loop is that in do while loop, it checks the condition at the end. At first, we specify do. That's why its name is do while loop, because first of all, it does the action, and then at the end, it checks the condition. So in do while loop, even if the condition is false, the loop will run at least once, because the condition is checked at the end. So that's why do while loop is the only loop where even if the condition is false, it will run at least once, because it at the beginning itself it does the action. It does the action once, and then it checks if the condition is true or false. So let's create a new file. Let me name it as do while loop.java, and then let me write public static void main string arguments, and then let me open curly brackets. Now similarly, in while loop, the similar syntax is used in do while loop. So in do while loop also I write int I equal to 1. I write or I create a variable outside the loop, and here I write do. Then I write what should it do. So I write system dot out dot print line I, then in the next line I plus plus. Now at the end, I write over here I write while I less than or equal to 100, and then I put a semicolon. So the syntax of do while loop is almost similar to the syntax of while loop, because all the other things which we write is the same. System.out.println, I plus plus, and the while statement. The only difference is that first of all I write do, and at the end I write the while statement. That's the only difference in the syntax between while loop and do while loop. Now if I run the code, as you can see, it prints numbers from 1 to 100. So in this video we have learned on how to implement all these three loops. And in Java, when we create real world applications such as websites, apps, or programs, loops would be a crucial loops would play a crucial role in the application, because many times they would many instances would come where we need to repeat the same thing again and again over a fixed number of times, or until a condition is met. So then we'll implement loops. So this concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and like. Thanks for watching.